Hi, Alex.
Hi, Natalie.
Welcome to the What Not Why podcast because we've just added the not why, which I think is, well, you'll tell me how relevant that is to you now that you've taken the program. But before we get started, why don't you let people know who you are? And yeah, then we'll get into it.
Okay, great. Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Really grateful for the opportunity to share this time. My name is Alex Green. What can I tell you about me? I'm currently the CMO at Butterfield and Robinson, so a Canadian active luxury travel company. Awesome little brand, super entrepreneurial. It's about 6 years old. Also father of two teenagers, which I'm sure I'll weave back into this sort of connection back to coaching and how I think I ended up here. And yeah, I mean, I'm just out of completing the Coach Academy executive and performance coaching program.
Yeah, you just finished. Although we were talking before we aired that you've been 6 weeks into this new role, and
Yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah,
That's just
yeah.
time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Six weeks into a new job. And yeah, I mean, loving it so far and also learning about all the different ways that sort of the coaching skills can show up in a new role, which has been great.
Right. Okay. So, what I have so many questions because I know that, well, you came to us through a referral, which a
Mhm.
lot of people seem to do. And I'm curious about that journey because you did say that you were looking at other programs, and a lot of people are doing a ton of research when they start looking for a coaching program. So I'd love to start there. Just a little bit about your journey into coaching.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think there were a variety of reasons. I think why I was looking for a coaching program and more training overall. Um, I think at its core, if I think about sort of career and career success, most of it is linked back to other people. And that's being bosses that have been great in terms of leadership. I've had two executive coaches over my career, and they've been sort of catalysts for key moments of change. And they've had a really sort of significant and profound impact on me. And then, yeah, like I am raising two teenagers, and I'm very quickly realizing my role is shifting from parenting to something that's more like co-piloting and or coaching. And I feel like that is sometimes a bit of a tricky transition and job. So there was, I think, some personal things that were drawing to me towards it as well. So I feel like that sort of set the stage for me trying to figure out how do I get some more coach training, and I need to do it in a context where I'm still working full time in an executive role that tend to be quite demanding. So I wanted a program that was credible, which is where the referral comes in. Knowing somebody that's in the program was like, yeah, this is great. It works really well. It was another executive in another Canadian company, and they were like, I can manage this within my schedule. It's a fair amount of work, but it's a very flexible format.
Mm.
The Coach Academy so I was sort of Tuesday nights. It was 2.5 hours every week. And it was virtual, and everyone was virtual, so it was a regular connection. You could sort of find the time throughout the rest of the week to get the work done. So that sort of credible, flexible, and something that I could balance or maybe juggle with
Yeah.
all the other responsibilities was sort of how I netted out at Coach Academy.
Good. And so, what have you noticed, like, if anything, like since you've taken the program?
I feel like the probably the biggest thing is creating the space and the presence to really listen, um, and just how that can be such a different and dynamic way to show up,
Mm.
and just the ripple effect that can create. Like it, and it's interesting, right? Like whether it's as a parent or through a career and building momentum in a career, like you get rewarded and you build success based on your ability to do a lot of things, to action things, to solve problems, and just keep things moving. And that's really reinforced and encouraged. And then all of a sudden you hit this point where, if you're lucky enough to have some sort of career momentum where you're managing sort of people and teams, or on the flip side, that you're going from like toddlers and adolescents to all of a sudden having these teenagers, like you're not really there to fix the problems in the same way. You're there to sort of, help other people figure out how to solve those problems. And it's sort of shifting out of that fixer mindset to one that's more about creating space and really being present and listening to other people, and how that gives them room to really start to express themselves and figure out what those solutions can be is a pretty big shift. It's also way less stressful, just for the record. Like,
a lot less to hold.
Yeah, because you can just breathe a little bit. Like everyone just gets to breathe. Like you don't necessarily have to have the answers. You just need to create some space and have some good questions and frameworks, and things start to build a bit of momentum. So it's a big insight for me, for sure.
So I heard you say that society kind of drives us to have answers.
Yeah.
This is a different way than I would imagine of being for you, or maybe you had some of this, a mix of a little bit of directing or advising with some coach approach. What are you noticing is like, how do people respond to it? Like, what's the difference that you see in maybe what you're experiencing from others?
It's interesting. Most people aren't used to what it feels like to have somebody sort of calm, present, and creating space for you. And I think it's probably less prevalent now than it's ever been. Like we're all on our devices, multitasking and running around. So like, I think the first thing you notice is that I don't want to say it's unsettling for people, but it feels very unique and distinct to create space. So people, I would say first and foremost, they notice it. And I think within that, they notice it in a really quite a lovely, positive way that I think reinforces your commitment to someone and their ideas, their potential, and what they have to offer. And then I think the second big part is you start to get connected into that. You start to hear what's important to someone, their ideas, and you get to start having some really interesting discussions about what the future looks like and the different ideas that they have to get there. But I will say you do notice the way people respond. Like they will feel a difference. And, you're in some conversation, they're like, well, this feels a little bit different. Hey, what's going on here? I'm used to you giving me advice. Can you give me advice? How should I solve this? So there is a little bit of a transition in terms of shifting the nature of the dialogue a little bit.
I'd love to hear how your kids are responding to that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I can't say that is going super well. I mean, you hear the term "don't coach me" come up fairly often, but I'm just trying to keep coming back to like my positive intent and what I'm trying to accomplish. And I don't know, man, it's going to take a little while to see if it works out, but it's no worse. I'm no worse. I can guarantee as a parent. I'm pretty sure I'm marginally better, but jury's still out. In a couple of years, you can get the kids on here and you can check for yourself.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll have to do the generational feedback on coaching.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, it's interesting. I hear a lot of people say that the first place they notice the changes with family, because family will point out how maybe a little bit more questioning or a little bit more space, as you said. And then colleagues notice.
Mhm.
I wonder, like, what do you think is the hardest part of making that shift? Because you're CMO, right?
Mhm.
CMO,
Yep, CMO.
CXO. You've reached a certain level of accomplishment in your career. You know a lot, um, and it must be hard to hold back your knowledge, especially like when people are asking you for advice.
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, I also tend to work in pretty sort of entrepreneurial companies, so the pace is pretty high in terms of decision
Mm.
making and movement. And there's a lot of muscle memory there. It feels pretty good to give advice in terms of using all of those skills. So the hardest the hardest part tends to be the I don't know. It's almost like the patience to allow the process to work. Um, there's I feel a lot of pressure and urgency, and again, like a lot of muscle memory on sort of learnings and insights on how to do different aspects of strategy and marketing. So it's finding the right balance. There are times where it has to come in, and times where you can create a little bit more space. So I think it's learning to override that muscle memory and being quite planful in my approach. Like I really have to take time before meetings to just sort of prep and prime myself to be in a little bit more of a coach versus a bit of a fixer or doer mode. Um, and then there's a big leap of trust that comes up consistently that, you're trusting and empowering others to be able to find the path to do these things. Um, and that's another big part of it. So I'd say like, yeah, it's like muscle memory, it's prep, and then it's trust. And the way that those things, when you're under a lot of time pressure, can definitely feel tricky.
Yeah, well, a lot of people talk about the unlearning part. That muscle memory is hard to override for a lot of people. But like one of the things that I notice is when a leader, starts with, "What do you already know about this?" Like when
Mm,
a direct report will approach them, they need advice, they need support. That one question tends to give a lot of information about where someone is starting from, and also could reveal, like, there's more there than you realize that person knows, or their perspective, their experience. So this term, smarter, faster, better, stronger, do you think that that's compromised in a coach approach?
intellectually, not at all. Right? Like I know that bringing a coach sort of like approach to developing, individuals, leaders, and teams makes all the sense in the world, especially small companies that need to scale. Like you need people out there, thinking and operating independently and making decisions and moving forward. So I'm like, intellectually, I'm like, that absolutely makes all the sense in the world. So I don't think there's a contradiction there. I think it's just the way that it can feel in the moment. Sometimes it feels easier and simpler to just fix that thing and move on to the next versus training and developing and coaching to allow those individuals to build those skills themselves over time. So it's just navigating the balance between those two things. And Nathalie, I feel like you're like coaching me in real time in terms of posing that question because I'm like, I do need to be getting into that more often. Because you're right, like people's background and experience, and they have all of these tools at their disposal and all of these insights that don't necessarily always present themselves within the context of a slightly different challenge. So I think that's a really good point. It's believing in those things and asking the questions to surface them that is a powerful part of coaching.
Well, you're touching on a lot of good things, like the mindset, the preparation it takes before you enter the meeting to go, okay, what intention am I bringing here? Am I going to be the coach, the leader, the advisor, the fixer, the teller?
Yeah.
That's a big part. I'm also thinking about like the opportunity to know people better, to
Yeah.
hear like innovative ideas come from diversity come from the diversity of people's experiences and the meaning they make from those. And we don't get a chance to hear that if we're never asking questions,
Yeah.
right? So it's, yeah.
Yeah, that's so well put, especially when you think like my role in the world that I live in career-wise is like one part strategy, one part marketing, which largely is about bringing groups of people together to talk about what's possible and aligning on that and the core values within it. What's our purpose? Where are we going? Where do we want to stretch to as a business? And then what are the ideas to bridge from where we are today to where we want to get to, right? So it like so much of the role is around creating a process and questions and space for people to be able to express those things, which is a really interesting sort of connection point in terms of coaching and coach training. And even what I'm feeling now, starting as a new role, learning a new brand, a new business, a new strategy, and trying to figure out how to navigate and move some of those things forward. There's a ton of parallels between the two, between sort of that coaching mindset, as well as just what it takes to be really good at finding the value within people and brands and business to be able to move a company forward. Which is like, I didn't go into coach training thinking about that. I never really connected those two things, but it's really powerful. Like even just sort of coming into this new job, right? So I'm 6 weeks in a new job, which means that prior to that, there was, probably 3+ months of interviewing and researching and meeting different people. And that, like coming into like a panel interview with a coach like mindset and thinking about like, what are the real questions here? What are the real motivators? Where's the opportunity? And being able to really ask good questions, create space, be really active and engaged in both the presence and the listening. You start to see how the skill set shows up in lots of wonderful ways. So I always thought it was more of a career accelerator in terms of like, well, just be really good at managing and developing people, teams, unlock their potential, and that's both highly rewarding and I think a huge catalyst for success in terms of career and business. And then you learn as you get into it that there are all these other sides, like just core skill development as a marketer, brand builder, strategist, is it's a really solid bonus.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually heard a lot of people tell me that these skills have helped them in interviews. Being more present, as you said, asking better questions.
Yeah.
I think it shows some of your personality and also your desire for a values alignment when you're asking good questions in an interview. Like it's not just about the job and the comp, it's about, is this like a career, a place I want to live and be in for a long period of time? So there's so much there, but you're also bringing to mind, well, I love the career accelerator. That's a really good way to put it, because it's like you're developing skills that will accelerate your impact in whatever you're doing.
And this and I know I've worked in smaller entrepreneurial businesses, so they don't necessarily have the same sort of training programs and development infrastructure that larger organizations do. But I wouldn't have learned these skills within the context of the day-to-day job. Like they're hard to develop. They take a lot of concerted effort, which is actually what I liked about the program. Like you really are working these muscles every week, and then you go out into the world and you have the chance to practice, and then you come back, and it like even just that mindset shift, like it is really hard at first. So I don't know. I would have thought just being in business and operating, through a career with lots of different talented people that you would naturally acquire more of a coach-like skill set. But I'm not sure that is the case. I think you have to make a real concerted effort to go after these skills and to really work and practice with a lot of effort to have a significant improvement. And I would still say I'm at the beginning. Like I feel like I've got a good foundation from the course, And I've definitely seen a shift in my performance, particularly starting a new job. It's just so much coming at you. And I'm like, ooh, I got new skills. I feel a little bit different as I'm navigating this. Um, but it's going to take more time. And I feel like if I turn my back on it, that skill set and that mindset would start to recede. So I think it's still going to take a little bit more to really lean into it and make it a core part of the brand.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I believe that the reason more people don't have these skills is because it's an assumption that we make that, oh, people know how to listen, or people know the difference between a closed and open-ended question, or people know that, like all of the things, it's not complicated, but when you package them together, it's a linguistic tool that makes you a better communicator. And better communicator means people are responding to you better.
Yeah.
And that left to assumption doesn't get developed. I think I love kind of thinking about that, because if we were to leave it to the regular course of somebody developing as a manager or a leader or moving up the corporate ladder,
Yeah.
there's a lot of development going on in these corporate spaces, especially the bigger organizations. But even I had, the country manager of Indonesia, Pfizer Indonesia, say to me that he took the program and he said he had never experienced anything like that. And he had 30 years of leadership development.
I believe it.
And it's incredible to me. So what if we did this in schools and your children learned the differences and the nuanced way of communicating? What difference could that make?
Do you think then they would appreciate my coaching mindset?
A little bit more, probably. They would have more patience for you.
Are you coaching me right now? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the modeling part of it is powerful too. They're going to start asking you questions sooner or
Yeah,
later.
I hope so. I take it. I need the help. It's so interesting. Like just thinking about some of the unique things in terms of the training in the course that you just don't do in your regular flow of business. Like the number of times I had to watch myself recorded and analyze how I show up, how I communicate, and how I represent coaching, like super painful. I mean, like so painful, but you have to do it, right? And then you get other people giving you feedback on it. Like you would never do that. And it's so insightful to run through that process and to do it in a way with a bunch of other people who are just as uncomfortable as you in terms of doing it. Mm-hmm. But you just never take the time to do that. And like, I don't want to say horrified. I don't want to be too hard on myself, but like it's kind of shocking when you see yourself and the way that you show up at some of these conversations. And the good thing is like through the process, you can see yourself sort of evolving and changing. But you really, that's back to that point. Like you really got to work at it. And I feel like the program really creates some good structure and support, and has really good sort of tools to help you do that, which is I think what makes it quite impactful.
So what do you hope to do? Like what were the objectives you came to the program with?
Well, I mean, it's kind of, where I started in terms of the inspiration of why I was here, right? Like I do view it as a bit of a career accelerant. Like how do I build out a great skill set to help me to continue to do what I do in terms of working with, strategy, brands, business teams, and really tuning them up so they can create more of a positive impact in the world. Desperate for those parenting tools that with these teenagers out there in the world. So just, trying to get a little bit better at that. And then I've got one of my passion projects, which actually does connect to my original introduction into coaching. So in marketing, you deal a lot with ideas, obviously, right? Like you need to create environments where people can sort of talk about those ideas, express them, and ideally influence other people so they can move them forward. But a lot of people struggle with that. I've struggled with that early in my career. And my first coach was actually more of a communications coach, right? So I was VP marketing at Boston Pizza. Right? Like I'm a polite Canadian. I'm slightly introverted. I have British parents, right? So that's pretty conservative and buttoned down. Everything's sort of, hunky dory.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
see you as buttoned down.
yeah, right. Totally buttoned down. Um, and then picture me in this Boston Pizza environment where like I don't like presenting. I like things sort of under control and I like managing a narrative. And then you have to do these big presentations, right? And you've got Jim Trill living there, right? He's the Dragon's Den guy and he's super entrepreneurial, very smart, but also highly unpredictable, right? That's typically entrepreneurs. Like, what's the next idea? You have all of these, like, you got this awesome CEO, super smart, US up living in Canada, awesome guy, but also, direct driver. Then you have like the best franchisees in the country around this U-shaped table, and they're all there for you to present your strategy and to tell you how much they like it and what their questions are. So you go into this, what at least I called the pit, and you got to present, and it was terrifying. Anyway, totally terrifying. Anyway, so like I ended up with an executive coach that worked with me for years to improve both the mindset and how I could show up in that space and bring like those sort of, strong opinions that are still somewhat loosely held and present them in a way that I could take this really dynamic feedback, navigate it, and continue to move those ideas forward. So from there, I became a bit of a junkie for this idea of like, how do you really teach people to communicate their ideas in effective ways? So that's kind of like my side passion project. And it's not necessarily just pure to coaching, but it's coaching with a bit of a bent on really helping people with like process tools and skills to communicate ideas. And it's such a big part of what I think is critically important in terms of marketing and strategy and moving things forward. And I love now the process of trying to help other people to build that skill set. So I think the coaching is just sort of that additional training is just further improved my own skill set to be able to do that. And that's a passion project. I don't think it's really a side hustle yet. But I can't imagine a future where I just get to spend lots of time doing that, helping people, get really connected to what's important to them. And then not just sort of getting tapped into that, but also being able to express that to the world so they can make it a reality. So I really like the way that the coaching skill set blends with that sort of communication idea, sort of generation skill set, and sort of seeing where that goes over time, right? Like maybe I'm dialing in from a small chateau somewhere in France, coaching people on that stuff. I'm doing lots of other outrageously fun things. I don't know. You got a dream. That would be the dream.
That is a good dream. I like that dream.
Actually, you know what? B&R as an active travel company is probably a pretty good bridge to that dream.
That would be perfect industry for it.
So maybe this is going to happen. Not this year, but maybe it's at some point.
Yeah, that's a good dream.
Yeah.
But I really like what you're saying about, a lot of people think, oh, I can't coach. I can't just stay in coach. I have too much knowledge, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing you say with this role as a leader, the strategy part of it, but there's also the information gathering, designing, sort of innovating. That's where the coaching, I think, lives, in the good questions and the way that you observe and show up and probe and get curious.
Yeah.
And then there's the strategy part, which is your expertise, your knowledge is put to work. So those two roles are so different. And I guess what I want to say is that when I see coaching used successfully, including my own role as a leader of a company, I can't be a coach all the time.
Yeah.
I have to step into leadership to lead, to guide, to create a vision, to, weed out the noise, whatever it is. But the coach approach is how I get the most out of the team.
Yeah.
How I get the most out of the talent that we have. And I think that distinction also that coaching isn't just questions. Like I was thinking about your daughters, like acknowledgement is a
Yes.
gift.
Oh my
Such
God. Yes. Yeah.
And we don't get that very often.
Yeah.
People kind of overlook acknowledgments.
Yeah.
And I know this because in the program, I think it's one of the most uncomfortable modules is when people have to receive acknowledgments.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable because it's not something we often experience.
Even just learning how to deliver a really nice, clean acknowledgement is a skill that I didn't have before. But you're right. It shows up all the time. I'm much more aware of it. I'm much better at doing it. Also very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to somebody who was thinking about adding, coaching as a career accelerator?
Um, yeah, I mean, I would, I mean, I'll be a great sort of reference for you for the program for the rest of the time. I mean, it was it was a really quite a powerful experience for me. There was a few surprises. I mean, one was the depth of the relationship and the connection that I felt with the group that was on this journey with me, right? Like the cohort that I was a part of, which was a pretty small group, but we met every week, like consistently. I don't like it's very rare that anyone misses a class. Like everyone's committed, similar goals, similar mindset, and just the amount of vulnerability that you go through. I mean, it's a little tough at first, especially right, Canadian, British parents, right? That was very hard for me at first.
Buttoned up.
Yeah, but it's like you form these amazing relationships with this group of people, and you do a lot of practice coaching together. You present to each other, like you provide feedback, and you go through real moments of vulnerability. So that was a really wonderful and unexpected part of the journey. Um, I think the other thing that I think was surprising to me was the amount, to be honest, the amount of work it was. And I'd say both on the emotional side as well as just like there's a lot of work. There's a lot of readings, there's videos, and there's think time, there's practice time that you have to do every week. So if you're going to sign up for the program, I'm like, you have to really want it. Like you got to be committed. That group, that cohort's going to hold you accountable as well. So um, I think that was a little bit of a surprise as part of the program. But within all of that, I would say, and this was sort of echoed through the group, and a lot of people are juggling, other significant major careers. Like everyone's busy, everyone's trying to do like this is a busy, engaged group. It's also very rewarding. Like I never dreaded the Tuesday night, right? Like after a long day at work, throw in a commute, like literally would walk in, like jam something in my mouth and show up on the camera as I'm chewing.
Yeah.
I was never like, oh my God, I got to do that. It was always something that I was looking forward to. So it was a little bit of a break for the week. So like it I guess maybe the summarizing thought would be like it was way more transformational than I thought it would be. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I was thinking like I'll get the credential, that'll be important. I'll build some skills that'll help me over time. But I don't think I really realized how much it would show up sort of day to day in my life, and just how I don't know, like it's got a real richness to it. And I honestly, I just feel like it's made me a little bit of a better human in terms of some of the shifts and the awareness that it's created. So more work than I would have thought, harder, and even just trying to shift mindsets. And like, it feels super uncomfortable for quite an extended period of time. But I would also say if you're in it, like way more powerful than I ever would have thought. Um, and I think this program is unique versus the other ones. Like I was looking at, Rotman and other sort of branded programs, and they were way less intensive, way less regular, really hard to work into an exec schedule. Like I was like, I can't give up weekends. I got family, I got commitments. And then during the week, I'm like, I got job stuff. So it's just the combination of the flexibility, the format, and just how regular it is, I think is, works really well in terms of the the objective of real learning, as well as just making it work in a really busy life schedule. So I would highly recommend it. I do think it's a bit of a life accelerator in terms of just being a bit of a better human. For sure, if you're in marketing or branding or strategy, I'm like, no brainer. But you got to be in it. Like it's going to take more from you than you think in the short term. So you just be ready.
Yeah, we've been accused of being rigorous.
Yeah. Wow. I
Uh,
way rather that accusation than the opposite,
yeah,
though.
yeah, no, and that's where I lean toward. And
Yeah.
we're also super flexible with, people who can't keep up, or people
Yeah.
who need extra additional
Yeah.
time or help. We're doing that
Yeah.
too. But well, I really appreciate everything you're saying, and I can't say enough about how your group showed up. Like that group in particular, hashtag best class ever was the going trend every week,
Yeah.
which
Those
was
are
so
good.
fun.
Yeah.
It was really, I don't know, serendipitous the way that you all came together. Big group too. It was like what, 15, 16 people, which is bigger than our normally.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we usually land around 12 because I like that number.
Yeah.
12 is a really good manageable number. But you all actually, I think that group experience has opened me up to bigger classes because it was so, I mean, we had 18 people at one time in the executive portion
Oh, yeah. Right at the tail
of
end.
your program.
Yeah.
And it was just so great the way the exchanges and the connections and that
Yeah.
yeah. So what can you say about being coached? You said you had an executive coach come like
Yeah.
before
That's
you
you.
overtook
That's
this.
you. I had sort of that, like, learning how to survive in a slightly different environment at Boston Pizza, particularly around communications. And then when I made the move from VP to CMO, that sort of big career
Yeah.
transition, I had another awesome coach that really helped.
What was it about that coach? Like what did you experience?
It's I guess it's having somebody sort of create the space and ask the questions to help you sort of illuminate your own path forward, paired with its own version of like an accountability framework where it was like I had these really intense conversations and self exploration. I mean, if I think about the VP to CMO, they also had the context of the organization, and they'd coached a number of other people within the organization, so they kind of knew the playing field, and they were able to ask questions that helped me build sort of connections. And then that monthly connect, like I felt I was really driven to be successful in the role and to really be ready to create those markers in time against progress and plans. So I don't know, it was those two things together that I mean, I find it hard to believe left to my own devices I would have been able to create a plan, or maybe it's a point of view and a plan that would have built that much momentum that quickly. It's
Yeah.
fun. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just the way that you describe that has me thinking like, is there any other person in our lives who can partner with us in that way in such a specific objective? Like, yeah, or your relationship partner maybe is there for the journey, or your boss or your colleagues are there to support and collaborate with your progress. But it's just that partnering of that accountability once a month, and they're really interested in, like you said, the markers of your progress.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think there's a benefit to having someone one step removed,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
even, and I feel this as a boss or when I'm having coach like conversations, with my boss, that there are so many objectives and mandates and priorities that are held within those discussions across both sides. Um, And even think about it like with like significant others, right? It's so layered and emotional that I do think there's a benefit to having and feeling the purity of somebody who's leaning in just for you. And not being as involved in the day to day, maybe understanding the context, but not having the same vested interest in these things. That there's something about that allows them to hold a slightly different space, and I think that there's something in that I think is really important.
Yeah, I think for me that bottom line is that the coach doesn't need anything from you.
Yeah, well said.
Right? That like letting go of that gives you so much room to explore your ideas.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah. Sort of might explain why there's been very little coach-like discussion with my significant other. Yeah, no,
I don't recommend it personally.
yeah.
It's not the best coaching.
Acknowledgements, yes. That's where I got a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah. That's always a touchy one, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's so great to have this time with you. I really appreciate it. And I also know that you're very busy. So I do ask one question of all our guests. And that question is, well, if you had one question for the universe that you could receive the answer for, what would it be?
Oh my God. One question for the
One
universe?
question, just one. And make it a what question, please?
Wait, can I just
Not
go?
why. Don't start with why.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine all of that?
Not why podcast.
And he leads with a why. You know what? It's funny. There's a lot of magic in just the question, what else? Just
Ooh, good
the
one.
idea of there's always more, and chances are every more is a little bit more interesting and intriguing. I mean, I don't want to challenge the universe by being like, what else you got? But I'm like, I don't know. I think that would be the question I would put out there. Like, how do you go a bit deeper? Because chances are that's where the magic is.
Okay. I do
Is
actually.
that unexpected? Is that
No? I love the question. I mean, I think you're right. Like that. What as long as it doesn't get to the what else, like you said, what else you
yeah?
got?
What else you got? Yeah.
That is the best clean short question to probe into someone's thinking or into what a situation could offer you. So for sure, it's a powerful question. And speaking of powerful questions, I'm thinking about our audience is often coaches, people who are building their brands,
Right.
people who are looking to build a business in coaching. And since I have you, Mr. CMO, what would you say are some important starting points for somebody building their brand as a coach?
Oh, that's a good question. I would always encourage people to really start with what makes them different. Like, you don't want to go out there and try to be a better version of coaching as a whole. Like, you really want to be like, what is it that really makes me different? And just lean in really hard into different. And then I would say try and align that with just a really small niche that you really think you can go in and just sort of own or dominate, right? Like where that difference delivers the most value. Your market doesn't have to be huge at first. You really want to focus. So different, and where's a really small niche you can dominate, just start to build, and then you can expand your sort of target beyond that. So I would say those would be, really important areas to start. I would say the same thing for a startup business, really of any size and scale. And then I would This is going to be this. Am I going to? This is going to be hard for me to say. So as a marketer, I'd say like don't get too caught up in the branding, the design, and the expression of that. Like you as a coach building a business, you are the brand, right? In terms of how you show up, who your network is, and the referrals and sort of the momentum that'll build. So yes, spend a little bit of time and, think a little bit about what you need to be seen as sort of credible and professional, and the things that allow you to communicate what makes you different. But don't go crazy on that stuff. Go like spend a lot of time to be really clear on what makes you unique, how does that align with your passion, and where's that sort of niche that you can lean into, and just get going. And then yeah, don't get too fussed about the other stuff. You have the brand.
Yeah, you are the brand, I think, is an important message. I have to say that when I started, this work as a coach, I want to say the academy, but it wasn't an academy; it was a course.
Yeah.
So when I started, I didn't know what you're saying, but I embodied it, and it was in the service. It was in how I responded. It was my dedication. It was my willing to serve. It was a lot of that created the brand that was referable. And I think that's such a great message for people to know that they are the brand,
Yeah.
and what they do matters
Yeah.
in everything, like all the interactions, right?
Well, now I think about how I came in, right? That's that referral again. Like
Yeah.
another executive, only 4 weeks ahead in the program, not that far ahead, was was pretty much like, this is the one. Alex, I don't know, like I know you're doing your research, but this is the one. Like it's a referral.
I'm not going to say her name, but I absolutely love who referred you. And
I know.
I remember she'd come to class and she'd be like, Coach
I
Family.
know. She's amazing, right? Like that's such a good shorthand. And it's to be the same thing with coaching, right? Like I know amazing people, busy executives who are doing amazing things. They are like, hey, you should try this. This is great. I'm like, okay, perfect. That's
Yeah.
like trust right out of the gate. It'll be the same thing with a coaching practice. Hey, have you spent any time with so and so? I know you're trying to work through it. This is a great coach. They really do great work in this area, right? That's
Who
how
was
it
it?
builds.
Was it Malcolm Gladwell who wrote The Tipping Point?
Yes.
What
Yeah.
does he call those people? They're not connectors. They're
Oh God, are they super connectors?
something like that, or they're like the people who like start things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Early adopters. Something
Yeah.
like
Maybe those two concepts might be in there somewhere.
that. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a really great. Well, and there was something else I was thinking about but I lost it when you were talking. But yeah, the referral is always the best way in for sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there was something else. Oh, it's the midlife brain.
It's the worst. It's the worst. There's only the caffeine only gets you so far.
Oh well, if it was important, it would have come back to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Oh,
And
hey, my pleasure,
so
Natalie.
many good, tips and ideas for people to digest. And is there some place that people can reach you if they're curious, about your
Uh,
passion projects?
yeah, I mean, easiest point in is LinkedIn.
Right.
Alex Green,
Yeah.
CMO, Butterfield and Robinson.
Yeah.
You can reach me through there. But yeah, no, really, really grateful for the time. And also, Natalie, I should probably say that so that people know that you were the instructor of my cohort.
I was.
So we've got to spend a lot of time together, and yeah, I'm grateful for this time, but also all of the effort and work that went into supporting that cohort and the learning. And I am always impressed and can always see the passion that you bring to coaching and wanting to share that with the world. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity that I got to have you as my teacher. It was great. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my goodness, I'm in a big transition now. So you'll be like one of my last groups.
Oh no!
I know it's
Great.
big and scary transition for me, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's good. I mean, you had a lot of your different master coaches in and out of the program, right? Like
yeah,
hosting different sessions, doing the
yeah.
mentoring feedback. And so I did manage to get some good exposure to that group. So super talented group of
Yeah.
skills there. So nothing to worry about there, but
Yeah.
that might support again this best group ever. I mean, that was a real moment in time. Good group of people. We had Natalie as the teacher. It's good. It's
Yeah.
really
Was
nice.
it best group or best class? Because I had
It was best B.
hashtag
Thought it was.
CE. Is
Was
it?
it C?
Oh, I messed it
Oh,
up.
you know what? The marketing guy can't remember the branding.
I
It's
can't
terrible.
remember either.
It's
Oh
terrible.
boy.
Yeah.
But you're right. I have an incredible team behind this entire thing, so it is
Yeah.
certainly a team effort. And
Yeah.
yeah, and thanks for just being open to this.
Yeah. No, my pleasure.
Coming in with an open mind, I think, is
Yeah.
where it begins. Like you said, you have to want it.
Yeah.
So
No.
yeah.
I have an appointment. I have a mentoring session with Penny on Thursday. So I'm still wrapping up a few last
Oh,
pieces
good.
with the course to wrap it
Yeah.
up. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, Penny's fun. I love
Yeah,
her.
she's great. Yeah, she hosted one of our classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time, Alex. I'm not gonna keep you because I know you're at work
Okay.
and you have stuff to do. But I really appreciate it. And if people want to reach out, they'll reach out through LinkedIn.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, Natalie. Nice to see you.